Right then, Tamers, welcome back to another deck profile video. In today's video I am covering Ryugumon from EX11. The deck has recently seen an abundance of new support from that same set, which, not to say that it wasn't strong before, but it's certainly a lot stronger now because of the new cards. There's also some Time Stranger cards that have been thrown into the mix as well, which actually makes the deck somewhat crazy. So we'll dive into our Digi-Eggs as always, and I'm going to start with Ryugumon from BT24. The inherited effect is a your turn once per turn effect, but when effects, place Digimon cards with Aqua or Sea Animal in any of its traits. In this Digimon's Digivolution cards, you draw one card. Now, with the lineup of this deck, you're pretty much guaranteed to do that effect every turn if that Digimon remains in play. But always a guaranteed draw one, which is always very helpful for the deck in general. As for our rookies, I'm running 4 copies of Sangomon from BT19. Now, this rookie is essentially our predominant searcher for this deck. So you reveal the top 3 cards of the deck, and you can add 1 card with the Aqua or Sea Animal trait, as well as 1 card with the Liberator trait among them to your hand. You bottom deck everything else. The inherited effect is an end of attack. Once per turn, gain 1 memory. You're going to be seeing a lot of that inherited effect with the rookies, and in some cases the champion level Digimon as well. Next up, I'm running 3 copies of Sangomon from BT21. Now, this rookie is essentially the one you want in the breeding area, ready and waiting. However, the your turn effect is when this Digimon would Digivolve into a Digimon card with the Mollusk or Aquatic trait, you reduce that cost by 1. And then similarly, much like the previous Sangomon you've just seen, the inherited effect is an end of attack. Once per turn, you gain 1 memory. And then moving on to our next 2 I'm also using 2 Sangomons from BT22. The on-play effect is by placing this Digimon as the bottom Digivolution card of any of your Digimon with the Aqua or Sea Animal trait. Until the end of your opponent's turn, that Digimon gains blocker and can't be deleted in battle. Now, the nice touch for this card is the inherited effect of jamming. So regardless of which method you use, you're ultimately not going to be killed in a battle or during a security check of sorts. As for our last rookies then, so I'm running 3 copies of Sangomon from EX11. It comes with when moving and on play. If you have 7 or fewer cards in your hand, then you draw 1. The end of attack inherited again is once per turn, and you gain 1 memory. Much like 2 of the other variants of the Sangomon being run in this deck. Now, you can opt to use other sea animal related rookies. However, the Sangomons work very, very well for this deck generally, so that's what I would advise. In relation to our champions, however, so I'm still using the Shellmon line. So I'm going to use 2 copies of Shellmon from BT19, which, when Digivolving, if you have 1 or fewer Tamers, you may play 1 Yao from your hand without paying the cost. And then again, the inherited effect in this case is end of attack once per turn, gain 1 memory. I sound much like a broken record, but all of this memory gain really does work in the game, and I'll explain why shortly. Next up, I'm running 4 copies of Shellmon from BT22. It comes with Decode. It also comes with On Play and when Digivolving, where you may place 1 level 5 or lower Digimon card with Aqua or Sea Animal in any of its traits from your hand underneath this Digimon as its bottom source. Now, as well, it also includes jamming as an inherited effect, which is mainly the reason why I'm running 4, but ultimately I want to try and stack as many sources as I can underneath my Digimon so that I can utilize as many effects as I can. And then lastly, I thought long and hard about this really, but Shellmon from the promotional line seems to be the more appropriate card to select. So on play and when Digivolving, by placing 1 level 5 or lower Digimon card with Aqua or Sea Animal in any of its traits from your hand, as this Digimon's bottom Digivolution card, you draw 1 card. Similarly, it's end of attack once per turn. In this case, instead of gaining memory, you just draw 1. So in 1 turn particularly, you could end up drawing 3 to 4 cards or more, depending on the stacks. In regards to ultimate level Digimon, however, so I'm running just 2 copies of Marine Bullmon from BT19. It again comes with Decode, but the on-play when Digivolving is that you may place 1 Digimon card with Aqua or Sea Animal traits from your hand underneath 1 of your Digimon as its bottom Digivolution card. The end of attack once per turn is that you may play 1 level 4 or lower Digimon card with Aqua or Sea Animal in any of its traits from this Digimon's Digivolution cards without paying the cost. Now this is where we get funky, so I'm running 3 copies of Sharkmon from BT24. On play when Digivolving, Digivolve one of your opponent's Digimon. The on deletion effect, you basically reveal the top 3 cards of your deck. You can play a 7 cost or lower TS trait Digimon suspended without paying the cost, and then you trash the remaining cards. It doesn't really pop up. This is the only TS trait card in the deck, but it sometimes does. The Digivolve is really nice. When attacking, you just ultimately place one other Digimon as its bottom source to unsuspend. I've also found room for 3 copies of this, Hyuanconmon from EX6. Now, on play when Digivolving, you may play 1 level 3 blue Digimon card from this Digimon's Digivolution sources without paying the cost. Similarly, it has the same inherited effect as that of Sharkmon, so again goes kind of hand in hand for aggression. But ultimately, the reason why I'm using this card is to spam the rookies so that I can either Digivolve for less, search for more cards, or potentially gain blocker. Moving on to our Mega level Digimon now, so we've got 2 copies of Neptunemon and 1 copy of Metal Seedramon Ace. In regards to Neptune, so on playing with Digivolving, return all of your opponent's Digimon with the fewest Digivolution cards to the bottom of the deck. All turns once per turn, when this Digimon suspends, it may unsuspend. And then all turns again, when any of your Digimon with a TS trait or Aqua or Sea Animal traits would leave the battle area, by suspending this Digimon, they don't leave. With Metal Seedramon Ace, however, the on play when Digivolving is Digivolve one of your opponent's Digimon, then return one of their Digimon with a cost of 7 or lower back to the bottom of the deck. The all turns effect in this case is that whilst you have 1 or more memory, your opponent's Digimon cannot suspend. So it goes really good if I want to go somewhat aggressive, especially if I've got that 1 or more memory available, so stop blockers from stopping me from killing my opponent. But the Neptunes are really good defensively overall. I'm also running 3 copies of Ryugumon from EX11. The on play when Digivolving and when attacking is once per turn, but by placing 1 Digimon card from your hand, which has the Sea Animal or Aqua trait, as this Digimon's bottom Digivolution card, one of your Digimon may unsuspend. The all turns effect once per turn is that when an effect would add to this Digimon's Digivolution cards, you can bottom deck one of your opponent's Digimon with as many or fewer Digivolution cards as this Digimon. So it can go aggressively and defensively. But as always, with Sea Animal decks, I'm running 2 copies of Arimon from BT22. When Digivolving, now you can play a level 3, level 4 and level 5 Digimon card with Aqua or Sea Animals in its traits from this Digimon's Digivolution cards without paying the cost. Then when Digivolving and when attacking once per turn, by placing one of your other Digimon as this Digimon's bottom Digivolution card, return one of your opponent's Digimon to the bottom of the deck, and this Digimon unsuspends. Moving on to our Tamers then, so I'm running 4 copies of Yao from EX11. The start of your main phase effect is by placing one of your Digimon cards in your hand that has Aqua or Sea Animal traits under one such Digimon card in play. As its bottom Digivolution card, you effectively gain a memory. The all turns effect is that when any of your Digimon are played or Digivolve, by suspending this Tamer, you can draw 1 card. However, if they've been played using Decode, you can also stop one of your opponent's Digimon from suspending till the end of their turn. I'm also running 2 copies of Yao from the promotional range. Start of your main phase effect, she gains you a memory if your opponent has a Digimon in play. Your turn effect is that when an effect would add Digivolution cards to one of your Digimon with Aqua or Sea Animal in any of its traits, by suspending this Tamer, one of those Digimon may Digivolve into a Digimon card with Sea Animals or Aqua in its traits, with that cost reduced by 1. So it's nice to climb the ladder, but you can essentially warp if you have multiple of these cards out in play. As for options, I'm using 2 copies of Unique Emblem Poseida Lagoon from BT22. The main effect is that you may play 1 Sangomon or 1 Yao from your hand or trash without paying the cost, then place this card in your battle area. Now, when any of your Yao suspend, activate delay, one of your Digimon with Aqua or Sea Animal in any of its traits may Digivolve into an Aquatic or Liberator trait Digimon card in the hand, with that cost reduced by 3. The security effect, you just activate the main effect. I'm also running 2 copies of Blue Scramble. The main effect, one of your blue Digimon will Digivolve into another blue Digimon card with the cost reduced by 3. Now, the card then gets placed in your battle area. At the start of your turn, if your opponent has a Digimon, you activate delay. You return 1 blue Digimon card from your trash to the top of the deck. Similarly, if you don't have a Digimon, you can play 1 blue Digimon card with 2000 DP or less from your trash without paying the cost. The security effect does exactly the same, except this card would then be added to your hand. And then lastly, I'm still using Mental Training, just a 2-of in this. So the main effect is revealing the top 2 cards of the deck, and you add 1 blue card among them to your hand. Bottom deck everything else, then place this in your battle area. The delay effect is that one of your Digimon may Digivolve into a blue Digimon card in your hand, for its Digivolution cost. However, if you've used this effect, you reduce it by 2. And then the security effect is just simply placing this card in your battle area. Right then, the 50 card deck profile is now on the screen. As always, guys, feel free to use this to copy and paste when you build your own decks or make some changes that suit your own play styles and so on. The deck itself I could easily talk about for well over an hour, I imagine, because I love sea animal trait cards just generally. In regards to this deck, however, it is very, very fun to play. It is equally quite strong, and it'll cost you no more than 30 quid to build all of this. So it's actually quite a cheap deck to build as well. Most of the cards you could probably just ask at your local scenes, and I'm sure players will have these ready to go and ready to hand out. But as always, guys, thank you very much for watching these videos. It is greatly appreciated. If you like this video, hit that little like button. If you want to see more, by all means subscribe to the channel. You don't have to, but it is appreciated if you do. Leave a comment below about your thoughts on the deck, and I will see you all in the next one.